When Steel talks, everybody listens.
We're very pleased to have the opportunity to chat with Mr. Earl Rodney, an extraordinary musician, composer, arranger who just happens to be in New York for a couple of weeks, and he's also taken the opportunity to, drop by the various pan yards, one in particular, Radoes, looking back at, your arranging accomplishments and everything that makes Earl Rodney who he is, and his mark on Steelband art form, the community, the culture as a whole. So welcome to When Steel Talks, Mr. Rodney.
Yeah. We're talking about the period that I was missing really. From New York is more than about 20 years.
Okay.
More than 20 years, since the 80s really. I've been here a couple of times to pick up an award one time from the Focus Institute sometime in 2001. But apart from that, I haven't been to New York at all.
No, okay, but you've still been active in music. But you've still been active in music.
Yeah. And one time in New York, I will always be with this man here, Mr. Hugh.
Mr. Hugh.
That is the Chinese man of Pan.
Yes, indeed.
Original solo harmonites. As a matter of fact, I got the solo harmonites. He was the person who came to see me. I was recommended by Alan Jobe, which was my pensioner. He was making pan for them at the time, and I was playing with Dutchy Brothers.
Alright. And
I was meeting San Fernando that night, but I find me at my grandmother's house in Fanny Village, Point 14. And the very next was Hugh Lloyd and
Alan?
Hugh Lloyd and somebody else from the band. I can't remember who it was because it was early days, but I remember Hugh Lloyd. I guess maybe because of his ethnic makeup. Because you were the Chinese man. And the next morning, the Sunday morning, I was
in Harmonize.
Second Caledonia.
Second Caledonia.
Nobody knew who I was except Hugh Lloyd. But he wasn't even in the yard when I went there. When I started working with the guys and things, nice to have a nice little big belly.
So 1968 through 1973?
68 to 73. With Hello Hammonites. No, I've been 67.
67?
Yeah.
Okay, and 68 with the record?
Well, the 2 weeks before Carnival, but late in the season, the man was sort of stranded.
2 weeks before the Panorama?
Yeah, well, it's stranded. 2 Sundays before Panorama, right? So it was 2 weeks. The band, the previous arranger, who was Nolly Bob, he was in Virgin Islands at the time. So they were in kind of trouble, they didn't have anybody. And that's how I come in the picture. I was still playing music with Dutchy Brothers. And my time was I split between them and the Dutchies.
Right.
And we only had about 2 weeks for Carnival, and during that time I probably work out of the 14 days, I probably work with them about 10.
This is 1967?
About 10 of the 14 days.
This is 1967? Alright, and then that relationship extended into 1968.
Yeah, but very talented people here. I mean, that's why they was able to do what we did
in such
that
a short space of time.
I never meet so many talented people, one
musicians,
spot, a whole lot of them, and they were hungry and wanted success. And the other amazing thing is that Second Caledonia was a place they had all kind of people, criminals, killers, rapemen. It always had war among the people in the village. And I think I was instrumental in cooling down some of that stuff and things. If you talk to a guy like Morty Caton, well, they will be good, better to tell you things like
that. So that and the steel pan instrument, that formed the basis, the bond that held the community together.
Right. And apart from that, they were hungry too for success, right? I remember the first day I went there, man, it had two battles. One with a hatchet, a man came in with a hatchet. I think he was a defender of the band. A fellow named Knapp. But these guys were young fellas, right? And there were other fellas in the village who were terrorizing them with the band. I guess it's rivalry and jealousy or whatever it was. But Knapp, who was an elder, he was a defender. So we were just taking a break. My very first day, sitting opposite the band. And this man passed behind us. He came from Adelaide Road and he passed with his hatchet, in a bag. But I didn't know what it was until after the action started. I hear a man go, "No, go, Mr. Knapp," with the hatchet. A little while after, that man was coming down with a big long long range rifle, you know, it broke me, it gone break. And come down the street, I said, my God, what are you doing in this place?
You were there to help bring the community together, helping some musical
sanity.
At
that time I didn't know, but I wasn't forward in that sense, you know what I mean? I didn't really, I wasn't scared, but it was really a tough situation. And the people accepted me there, so I feel safe, you know. And even now, when I pass through Caledonia, you know, most of the old people die out.
Yeah.
They will call the grandchildren and things and say and things like that. You know that man there, you'll be talking about Earl Rodney and this and but I just feel embarrassed and I'm kind of thing, you know. I don't like to be praised in front of my own face and things, but I tell the people in there really love me, and I think
but it's also
I'm my second home, second Caledonia, and bad and all the killing and things like that.
And it's also good that people can still identify, especially the young people, with someone who they've grown up hearing about in the community. So often you hear about people who have made impacts, but they have passed on. Now it's good that the people who know you can say to their great-grands, their grandchildren, this is Mr. Earl Rodney, and you know, that's priceless. Talking about that, you're from South Trinidad originally?
Point 14.
Egypt Village?
No, Point 14 Papa, but I live all over Point with my mom. I used to move around a bit.
And you were born 20th of December
1938.
1938. Okay. What age you became involved in Pan? You know.
What age?
Yeah, about what age that you know you really were captivated. You know, what was your first introduction, your exposure to Pan?
Well, first of all, I was living in a place called Gover Road, Point 14, Central Point 14. And all the backyards were like one backyard. There was no fencing.
Right, so you can just run through the whole family.
So we have cricket, all sorts of different things going on. But I was very small. It also had a Steelband in 2 yards away, 2 houses away from us. There was a man named Posty Clark who had a little band there. So I was always here in Pan, but I couldn't get involved with them because we were so small. But we were messing around with milk tins.
Trying to make your own rhythms, yeah.
And then sometime in 1945, Percy Clark gave me a pan, but I had to hide now, you know. In those days you have a bathroom, out in the yard is just something, so I'm hiding in the bathroom playing this pan.
You're like about 7 years old.
When see me going to be. I used to be playing this, so everybody would think it's Percy Clark. So I had a very early beginning with pan.
So that's...
And I was outstanding in a way, but I didn't know how I was standing. I was, people would say, "Beryl son."
You were really
Beryl son. You know.
So you should say like just about 7 years old, based on what you're saying there. In the 1960s, you worked, of course, with jazz bands and brass bands, and with the Dutchy Brothers, as you said. What was it like, you know, straddling both worlds with the steel band arranging and also still, as you said, splitting your time with the Dutchy Brothers?
Well, no, getting to the Dutchy Brothers. I was playing, first of all, my grandfather is a bass player, right?
And you were also, a bassist?
Yeah, but bass player, play a little keyboard, and a few other things, percussion. And my father and his entire family are musicians. They may not be professional musicians, might be just guys who know the quattro or the guitar.
But that was your basis, and that was your inspiration?
On my mother's side, my grandfather, that's it, music.
Music through the family? Music through the family?
Yeah, on that side.
Okay.
So, in 1961 when we moved, Tropical Harmony moved. In 1951 from Point 14, Tropical Harmony is the band I learned all my craft from. We didn't even go there, but that was the band led by Alan Jove.
Tropical Harmony?
Yeah. Great pan tuner, and my close friend. He died at a young age of 44 years in 1979. I still have his band there. So I play up to now.
So what was it like, the combination of working with, you know, the brass band as well as working with the steel band?
Well, I learned to play this bass in Penthouse nightclub. I had to tell you how I get into Dutchy Brothers because I'm a pan player.
Penthouse,
I can't just jump in there. So I
That's
learned to play the bass in Penthouse nightclub, right? There was a bass hanging up, leaning up in the corner. And the man who was Papa Jules, he was a bass maker, he used to make instruments. But he was also a member of this Bizo Police.
Okay.
And so some nights he would be walking and the bass would be leaning up there. So one night I went and pick up the bass. The doghouse, a big wooden bass, right?
Okay.
And I started to fool around, and then the guitar player, who was Alan Jover's brother, he tell me the name of the string, E, D, E, F, A, and all such, and I couldn't get a semitone every inch, you know, on the board, and that kind of instructions. I went ahead, and I found I was going pretty well, and I got interested in the bass. And I learned to play the bass by fooling around every night in Penthouse. And then Eugene Luke, who was the bass player for Dutchy Brothers, left and went to England.
And then
but then I was a fan of the band. I knew everything they do. I know how
and
exactly.
you knew the music.
Yeah, I know the music. So it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
So I just fit in to the band. Same Alan Jove came to Penthouse at night. By that time he had left us and gone tune and pan commercially. So he couldn't play in our band again. He was too busy for that. But he come and tell me that she was a Dutchy fan too. I told me that Eugene gone.
Looking for a bassist.
He went to a dance with them boxing night, and the band told me to say right and things. I have a fella playing the bass, so he recommended me as a bass player. So I went down there. The Dutchies know me as a pan player, but not as a bass player. And I went and do an audition the evening. Well, what kind of audition it was? Really was a rehearsal. And I just fit in the rehearsal, whatever new tune they were doing. And I fit in.
And the rest is history.
That's right, the guy lost his job. But it's a man I will always remember. For named Earl Sylvester from San Fernando. He was very popular. He used to play Miltons and things. He was a good musician, but he just wasn't a Pulston bass player, right? And I didn't know nothing about amplifiers and all them things. The first time I'm messing with amplifier and electric and all that jazz. So he stayed around and assisted me all the way. He was with me all the time. He wasn't, as a matter of fact, I think he was relieved to have somebody take the job from him. Because you know he wasn't cutting it. And he was so nice to me, I could never forget that, because that could cause a lot of jealousy. Although he couldn't cut it, he might have still hate me. But God bless him, he was a nice man, Earl Sylvester. I'll kiss him now if I see him. You don't meet many people like that. No?
Yeah, that's true. So when you were arranging with the Steelband, I mean, what was it like in terms of, you know, playing at the same time with the Dutchy Brothers? How did you make that marriage work in terms of splitting your time?
Well, Dutchy Brothers dance time in the night, you know, and I can find time in the day. And the band play mostly on weekends, so I have the middle of the week to do my stuff.
What similarities, if any, struck you when you were doing music for the Steel Orchestra as a player, and you know, when you returned to the duties of bassist with the Dutchy Orchestra?
Yeah, I guess I get a different vibe for pan, you know. It's a different approach sometimes to the other instruments and things. I just take it as it goes, you know. I have no special plan to say I have a format. Everything is time like a new something, like I'm just beginning. Sometimes I feel I can't even arrange, you know. That's just natural. My friend Ari used to tell me sometimes you can't tune pan, you know. Sometimes you feel like that, you know.
Yeah. You just need a little rest before you just get energies back up again.
But it's doubt, you just doubting yourself, you know.
You just need a little bit of time and energies.
Talented people, you know.
Hey, that's the way it goes. So, have you ever thought about, or did you ever feel the desire to arrange perhaps for a large orchestra, but a combination of steel band
I always dream about that.
and brass band? Okay.
Not so much steel band, because I don't need steel band.
No, but a combination of both.
You know what I would like to do? I like new challenges. Panorama and all them things, no challenge for me no more. I've been there, done it already.
Do you think that...
But I would like very much to do like a movie track or something like that. I think I can do it.
Of course, you certainly have the experience and the pedigree.
I just never had the break. That's the kind of challenge I want in my life. You know, Panorama and things is just... I passing through New York and helping out my boys. Radoes. I know a lot of them guys, I know all them fellas, you know, so I give them a little pull out. Go and see the down in the hole for a little while here. And Bradley going out, so I give my boys a pull out. You know?
I got you.
So that's how you happen to be by Radoes.
Do you see any room for a collaboration between the Steel Orchestra and a conventional orchestra per se on a large scale?
For me, the Steelband is a musical instrument, you know. It could go with anything. I've been close in a long time. A long time ago, I played concerts with a piano player and pan. I did Friends and Countrymen album, of course, with guitars and all this. This was one of the first solo album by a Steelband player of original composition in 1973.
Okay.
So I've always been crossing over the thing. It's just I haven't had the opportunity yet to work with a big setup. But it's a musical instrument and it belongs with any other instrument. You know?
Got that right.
Okay.
1968, Harmonites went to Panorama with you as the arranger, Kitchener the wrecker. Reportedly it was an extremely large band at the time, supposedly about 200 plus musicians.
No, the band used to feel 140 people. But we used to have over 160 players, and we always had about 15 people who couldn't get to play.
Okay, so essentially in 1968 about 140 people would have taken the stage,
yeah.
And that was...
we used to have like 32 tenors, 16 double second. It's a big band, well balanced.
Point. Whatever you
But
remember.
first they had a very dynamic band leader in Winston Fleming.
Okay.
He was the type of band leader who would ask advice and things, because some people feel they know it all, but Fleming was the kind of guy who would come and say, like for instance in 1967 when I went there the first time, they wanted me to do Kitchener's 67, right? You know, you had a song by the name of 67. But my choice would have been Governor Ball. As a matter of fact, that the first tune I did for so long, I followed Governor Ball. But if I had a say, I would have go to Panorama, but they wanted that particular song. So I went with it, but I never liked it. It was too long. I didn't like them long tunes. It was a nice thing, but for me, I like them short tunes that come to the point right away so I could move on, you know?
Yeah, gotcha.
And then I made certain predictions in that year. They had 3 competitions on the Panorama stage. They were promoting the movie It's Paris Boner.
Okay.
And I worked it here. I think the movie wasn't going so well though, so they were trying to promote it.
Oh, okay,
And
gotcha.
so we had to play a 2.5 minute piece from the movie theme.
Okay.
That was part of the competition, and they also had a bomb competition too. So 3 competitions in one on the stage. One the Panorama, National Panorama, a bomb competition, and the test piece with Paris Boom. And I made predictions that we could come 1, 2, and 3, but we came 1, 3, and 4.
Okay, not bad. Not
Yes,
bad,
so not bad. So we
Ex-
won the Paris Boning thing, and we came 4th in the Panorama. I think we got 3rd in the bomb competition.
Okay, and for 1968, when the band came first,
Well, you give me a chance to make my own choice.
tell me a bit about the configuration of the band though for 1968 with 140 musicians. About, you know, like how many tenors, basses. Do you remember approximately
Yeah,
what the
we used to
breakdown?
speak 36 tenors and
Okay.
16 double tenors. I mean double seconds, bass, 12 sets of bass. The double tenor we had 10. You know, things like that. We had a pretty big band underneath, you know.
Really, really going. Nowadays, well, what I should say is in recent years, there've been categorization of the Panorama itself. So you have small, medium, and large conventional orchestras. And we just spoke about Harmonites, and of course there were other bands fielding large numbers. Harmonites at 140 players. Do you miss that kind of power in terms of the steel orchestra now that, you know, they're down to 100 players?
First of all, Alan Gervais was a different kind of pan maker. Alan Gervais' pan is the kind of instrument you could stand up outside of the band and listen to any section you want to. Once the band is balanced, or a band was well balanced, I could go outside and listen to the tenor pans. I can listen to any section I want to, as well as I can listen to it collectively. Since Alan had gone, I've never been able to do that again. I come out the band, I don't hear all the things I'm supposed to hear. And I come inside and hear it, but it's not coming out. And that's the I feel still all the bands around the same thing, because for me to hear what they're playing, I have to go inside. Guinness Cavaliers is a band I could have stayed outside and hear what they're playing. He also produced bands for Guinness Cavaliers.
That explains why you could hear what they were
after
doing.
After Alan gone, I realized we know he was good, but we never know how good he was until he went. When the well one dry that time, there's no what's happening with the water.
And that's why when Steel talks, let's not wait for people to pass to talk about them. If we know you guys are around, then
Arcanger was 80% of that whole success story. Believe me. Because if you're going to cut down the tree and your accent sharp, it means doing nothing.
That's pretty
it take
true.
ages. And Alan had us with very sharp accents. You know, they're in a nutshell. So he was 80%. Between me and the other people, was the other 20. Honest, that's how I feel. And I'm saying that because I want to glorify. That is the truth. Well, because I've worked without Alan Pan, and I've never had this success.
Well,
my music couldn't come out. I couldn't divide the music the way I should. I had to stop sharing up the music and make 2 sections play something for it to come out. I couldn't arrange the way I used to.
And that was not the case when Alan was tuning. I said that wasn't the case when Alan was tuning.
No.
Well,
I can split my music as much as I want, and I can hear this section. Now I have to blend these 2 sections together one thing, so I will produce less music.
Because you're doubling up just to get the presence of what you want. Well, you know, tuners are extremely important. They are critical to the band, and people like Alan Gervais, yeah, got you.
I still have my band I play today, still have it. It's right here.
It's been about 20 years, as you said, since you've really been active in New York. As you've just passed through, I mean, have you made any observations, any differences you observed in how the pan scene was back then to what it's like today, 2009? Anything that strikes you?
To me, I don't think much thing happened with the pan, you know, because in New York, you know, most bands don't have no homes here. Yeah. So still the situation is still very much the same. I don't think our people here show the interest in pan as, say, like the people in England, the natives of England. And all these are people who show the real interest in pan. Our people, they just have it there as a culture thing, you know, they don't want to take it. I don't find they want to take it to another level. They just, you know, it's satisfied with it. It's a recreation, social business, you know. But I don't think that's the way it should be. In England, people hungry for pan. In Europe on the whole, they have a much better appreciation for pan than here. I'm not saying there is not some sort of appreciation here, but not as much as out there.
The edge is
That's
really
why I always prefer to go into England than to come here. I've been coming to this country since 1966. I first came at Dutch Brothers with Old Harris, people at the army. Very many years I come into New York, and I see no change really with the pan. Then going no place. Keep it in the community then. It's not reaching out to the wider
world, and it's not taking its place.
And the people don't seem to want to take it then either.
Yes, it's gotta go.
Down the Parkway seems to be good enough.
And behind the Brooklyn Museum grounds.
Right.
Same place, right? 20 years ago?
Not alright too, but you need to go further, much further.
So, you know, you are a champion veteran arranger. You have 3 championships? 4? Okay. Which one did I miss? 1968, 71? Okay, no. Okay, I know 1968, 71, and 72. And what was the 4th year?
74.
74. No, okay. That was with
Jericho.
Okay.
Same show, Nights.
Right.
But I had a little bit of controversy. I would like to talk about that because this is important.
Do, because I was looking at some documentation and I saw someone else's name.
Yeah, but here the truth is this.
Okay, lay it out.
The year before, that year, I told the man that I will not be going to Panorama the following year. I will be taking a rest and they should get somebody to do the Panorama tune. They say, would you do the album for us like we are custom doing? I said, sure. So I was there in the band walking out. I did Jericho, a full-length arrangement. I did about 4 tunes. And then I noticed there was no one coming to do the Panorama tune. And then I started hearing rumors like they're going to take one of my tunes and go to Panorama. So I get sour about that. I tell him, I don't want to be no part of it. I told them it's not, I didn't stick up nobody. They had a whole year in order to try to get somebody else. I mean, a man should be able to free to do what he wants. I still offer my services to do on the album, had to do an annual album every year. And the album had to be released by Carnival Friday, which means that even when the label printed, the tune wasn't even arranged yet. So that's the kind of hustle. The deal is the album must come out by Carnival Friday.
Yeah.
And they had competent people to do it. The only thing was a big how you jam and thing. But, and them they just had an incentive now for people to learn a lot of tunes because the band would have multiple dances where you had to split the band in like 4 or 5. Carnival Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I still don't know how we used to do all that and still win Panorama.
Well, you had a lot more players to begin with as well.
That was quite a feat. I mean, in today's time, I've been back to Solo Hammer. I resigned in 1984. I went back to try to help them in 1987 at Kitchener A-Minor, and it took me nearly a whole season to do just one tune. And from after that, the same thing. Radoes, the same thing, the whole season. For me, that is boring.
Explain a little bit more though about 1974. Let's set the record straight on that.
Alright, I did the tune.
Jericho.
Yeah. And so I left, you know, because I didn't like what I was hearing. So they brought in a friend of mine from Point Fortin named Rupert Mack.
And it's his name that's actually on the record.
And they added a little something to it. What I building is they found the foundation. I should put in when at the end of when they finished with Panorama, the captain went on the evening news and said things like, "They saying you can't win without Earl Rodney." And but we pull it off. Instead I tell the people the truth, Earl Rodney put down most of the music on the beginning it fell and they finish it. He went on to make it believe like I had never done anything for the tune. Okay, I gave them the opportunity to bring back the same man the next year to do Pan in the 21st century. And I had time to do about 4 other songs for recording and he couldn't even start the next one yet. So who do you give the credit for this tune?
Okay, it's good to know that. It's good to hear that directly from you.
I don't know nothing from nobody, you know.
Hey.
But you cannot lock me out. That's something that I know I do. I produce 90% of Jericho.
So 1968.
And anybody who know my brand of music will listen to it.
Would have
and they will tell it's me.
Recognize the work. Yeah, so 68, 71, 72 and 74, Mr. Rodney.
That's right.
Earl Rodney passed away in 2005 and inspired a whole lot of people, and he himself in turn was inspired by many. I mean, what was your relationship like? You know, both of you appreciated brass and other bands in addition to the Steel Orchestra. Talk to us a little bit
about I first met Barry while I was playing at the Penthouse nightclub in Port of Spain upstairs, Salvatore building, Choyaming Club. And he used to, all I was a resident musician, but Clive would pass through every now and then take a little knock and
he
was always that kind of fast moving guy and bold face, you know, you always up front, you know. Very nice and thing, and I got to know him there. Then I left and went to play with Dutchy Brothers, you know. He was off my radar for a while. And then from Dutchy Brothers I started to work with Solo, and from Solo I went by Sparrow. I did come in contact with Bradley again. I started arranging for Sparrow Troubadours.
Right.
And then he heard the work I was doing for Troubadours. That's how I get to do the first album, More Sparrow More. Bradley was around those times too. He did some of the tracks on that album. I did 5, he did 5. So we shared. Yeah. Yeah, we shared. But my name wasn't, neither me or Bradley's name wasn't on that album. They had they had a Ranger Conrad, he was the band leader. That was Berwick's band. When Berwick's band broke up, with only Berwick and his brother left, right? And the rest, Paro had the rest of people. The rest of Berwick's band, Roy Cape, Oxley, all the guys, you know.
And so...
So he, the bass player, Conrad Little, was the bass player for Berwick.
And so
he ended up being the leader of the Troubadours on Nasparo, you see.
And the credits
and I came in and do the album and thing. And the chorus went to him. But I don't think that's what's written on the record, but I think it became well known that it was me and Bradley after that time.
So your overall thoughts on Bradley?
Well, Bradley was always a brilliant guy, you know. Bradley is a multi-talented person. Bradley was an educator. Bradley could play a little guitar, he could play a little piano. Bradley is just talent, make it talent, you know what I mean? I miss him, he was my pal.
That's good. Yeah. Okay, as player, arranger, composer, you know, all-around musician, 60 years plus of music, as I've said, you know, what has been maybe your greatest concern or disappointment in terms of the development of the Steelband art form in general?
Well, I can tell you right away about some of my disappointments. Well, you know, I've been in studio harmonize for many years playing Arcanger pans with a certain range, and then after that year now they started bringing a new set of pan with very much less notes. We used to have basses with 21 notes, everything you look at basses with just 18 notes. They take out notes in the double seconds, they take out notes in everything. The band leader asked me, you know, my opinion. I said, well, how can you bring this? We are custom using thing with more notes, and how can you bring this?
Complexity and more colors.
So he didn't take me on, he just went ahead. Well, this is not Winston Fleming, no, that would never happen to a guy like him. He still died. That would never happen, but the other people, they really don't know anything. I'm not afraid to say, and I tell them in their face, that's why they probably don't like me up to this day. They know nothing about pan, they just have their own ego and their own thing, you know what I mean? They won't listen to sensible advice. They will want to take advice from our rivals and not take advice from me, who is with them, and you know, we call out. Yeah. So I'm very disappointed on that. That's one of the reasons I left pan. Reason Radoes, I'm trying to help them now. I mean, some of the pan don't have no low notes, something. You have a double, you have a guitar pan without a low C. You have a tenor pan without a middle C.
It limits what you can do. It needs to be a complete instrument.
You always have to compromise. If I want to play a tune in a certain key, and I go there, I have to change the key right away, you know, because that's a compromise. I compromise number one. If I want to do something on the bass, I have to think about a different thing. I could never do what I want to do. I have to tailor my ideas to suit the pan, which is not good for me.
Well, in the
very disappointed, totally.
As to the devolving of the complexity of the instrument. Yeah. And hopefully, is there anything at the other end of the spectrum that excites you and has pleased you about the development of pan?
But the tonal quality is good, I must say. Have a much more crystallized sound than years ago. On the other side of it is no good. What should I say about the other side? It means it had been a very rough road. I had a lot of success musically. If you have to ask me if I was a successful musician, I would say yes, musically. Financially, no.
No, I think that's about the sound and statement of many pan musicians.
I had success. I know I could do a bear fruit. For that, I'm sure. I know a bear fruit. And some of the fruit, I didn't know how I did. Because how I come by there after a lot of things, I say, oh, it's not me. I know it's not me. I have a gift. And I could meditate. I don't need an instrument to make music. I can hear music playing in my head. I could just sit back and meditate and cry. Sometimes music playing in my head, I'm not even aware. I say, hey, what's going on up there? So that's my life, you know what I mean? It's easy for me to produce music. That's my calling.
On the topic of, you know, that's a really good lead-in. You have a CD that's coming out, and you're working on that. Well, you're working on finalizing the production of it, really.
Well, we produced it, we're doing production.
Okay, what's the name of it?
Oh, this one called Dance of the Genie.
Dance of the Genie.
It's an Arabian melody with Trinidad, Indian rhythms and things.
When was the last production you had? About, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I went about 10 years ago, but I was really back into the music thing.
Okay, what about this one excites you? What touches you? And what do you want people to hear from this project?
First of all, this one is original music, right? I Jason Batiste and myself. We are the only two people play on the album.
Okay.
can play various instruments. You can play tenor, you can play any pan, as well as drums, congas. We can play. So both of us combine our composition. I have 7, he have 4, and we have a bonus track. So we have 12 tracks on the album. Original music, varied music. There is no 2 things alike. We have a little salsa, we have Brazilian music. The African experience in this hemisphere, right?
The entire
That's
diaspora.
where music is focused on.
Okay. What would you like to say in general, anything about Pan that you don't think has been given a voice or has been said? If you have a platform that you do here, what would Mr. Earl Rodney like to say?
I would say that there's a whole big wide world out there. Pan to me is still relatively unknown worldwide. It's well known, but it's still quite a lot of people do it. And we're supposed to have an organization in Trinidad called Pan Trinidad. I think they're not doing enough for the movement. They only concentrate on this Panorama music festival and thing, and at the end, kind of short-sighted vision. There's a whole world out there. Why can't they get bands together, make videos, little
projects
and
essentially
to promote.
Let it join the rest of the world in terms of music. 21st century, here we come.
Everything, man. That's the kind of thing I would like to see happen. And there is another thing again, the Pantuners in Trinidad complain about Mustafa making all the money that the comb man, the man who comb the pants. So I say, guys, you fellas just make enough money. Why you don't pull together and have an enterprise where you comb in your own pants? Then you have to complain about Mustafa no more. Everybody blaming the next one for not cooperating. I spoke about 3 Pantuners one day. I didn't go for that mission, but I went to visit them for my own stuff and thing, and then I happened to bring up talk like that. And I talked to 3 people, and each of them was blaming the next one for not
stepping up and doing what's necessary.
But just after that, I had a meeting, and the meeting didn't last 5 minutes. So a thing like that was disappointing. This is direction, I mean, if you're in the pan business, you should keep the industry in the family.
So the first thing you think is that
they get to say I'm selfish and all, but that's the way it should be.
So the first thing you think, or one of the first things that needs to be addressed is people need to be adult and be able to face the direction and take the initiatives and move with it.
Yeah, positive steps, make positive steps, If you complain, they have the resources, You guys make enough money that they can pool together, and even if they don't have it, they have the reputation and the name that they can get a loan, combine together all these people. But I know they don't need a loan. I think they could pull it off.
That's true.
Why don't they?
Just want to thank you for being here in When Steel Talks. It is a pleasure to be able to speak to you personally. Thank you very much, Mr. Rodney. Thank you for being in When Steel Talks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Until the next time.